colors, different textures, different smells. You know what? You ever had an alpine strawberry?
No.
They're white and they're
I've
like
never
a
had.
tangy, two kind of flavors taste. Can you see these almonds growing on my tree right here? I mean, they're beautiful.
And his garden, it's literally in front of his house, on the sidewalk, open to the public 24/7, no formal invitation required. And in the beginning, the idea of a community garden on the sidewalk in South Central was so strange that his neighbors would mock him. They'd call him
Ronnie Appleseed.
Ronnie Appleseed.
I remember this time, it was his mother and his daughter, 10:30 at night, and they were in my yard. And I came out and they looked so ashamed. So I'm like, man, it made me feel bad that they were there. And I told them, you know, you don't have to do this like this. This is on the street for a reason. It made me feel ashamed to see people that was this close to me that was hungry. And this only reinforced why I do this. And people ask me, Finn, aren't you afraid people are going to... steal your food? I'm like, hell no, I ain't afraid they're going to steal it. That's why it's on the street. That's the whole idea. I want them to take it, but in the same time, I want them to take back their health.
You just gave it away.
Yeah, and that's what it's for. It's on the street for a reason. I want you to enjoy this food.
The food part seems important, but it sounds like there's something bigger that you're kind of going after. Something about just sharing.
It feels good. It feels good to be able to share. It feels good to be able to change something. It feels good to give. But I mean, within that, you also have to receive. And a lot of people, they have a problem with that. My thing is that's what the yin and the yang is all about.
So Amanda Palmer, who we're going to hear from later in the show, she says that you have to ask somebody if you also want to give. Like that's an integral part of it.
I think that's the yin and the yang. It has to have balance. This garden is about bring something. And get some. If you want food, bring some food or bring something. Just don't come take. It's mandatory that you have to give. And you have to be able to receive. just imagine if we had one whole block, cooperative, that they grow food and you know what your neighbor's growing, so you don't have to grow it, because you know Mabel's doing the carrots and you know Tex is doing the onions and you know you have the cabbage and fruit trees. That would be my perfect world.
Ever since planting his garden, Ron Finley and a group of volunteers have worked on almost 20 other gardens. And his neighbors, even strangers, they've given him wheelbarrows, seedlings, plants, entire trees. Sometimes they just leave them on his front porch.
I see young people and they want to work, but they're in this thing where they're caught up. I see kids of color and they just on this track that leads them to nowhere. So with gardening, I see an opportunity where we can train these kids to take over their communities, to have a sustainable life. And when we do this, who knows, we might produce the next George Washington Carver. But if we don't change the composition of the soil, we will never do this. What I'm talking about is putting people to work and getting kids off the street and letting them know the joy, the pride, and the honor in growing your own food. So what I want to do here, we got to make this sexy. I want us all to become evolutionary, renegade, gangster gardener. We got to change we got to flip the script on what a gangster is. If you ain't a gardener, you ain't gangster. Get gangster with your shovel, okay? And let that be your weapon of choice. So basically, if you want to meet with me, don't call me if you want to sit around in cushy chairs and have meetings where you talk about doing some shit. If you want to meet with me, come to the garden with your shovel so we can plant some shit. Peace. Thank you.
That's Ron Finley. You can see his full TED Talk at ted.npr.org.